How I would save my first £10,000 if I started from zero. Right, if I woke up tomorrow with absolutely nothing, zero savings, nothing tucked away, starting completely from scratch, how would I get to £10,000 as fast as humanly possible? Because here's the thing. That first 10 grand is the hardest money you will ever save. But it's also the most important. And today, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I do it, step by step, living in the UK, in 2024. No fluff. No, just stop buying coffee and nonsense. Actual strategy. Let's get into it. So why £10,000? Why is that the number? Well, it's not magic. But 10 grand is the point where your money starts to mean something. It's a proper emergency fund. It's a deposit on a car without finance. It's the beginning of a house deposit. It's the amount where you go from feeling financially vulnerable to feeling like you're actually standing on solid ground. And I'll be honest with you, the journey from 0 to 10,000 is harder than the journey from 10,000 to 50,000. Sounds backwards, doesn't it? But it's true. Because when you're starting from nothing, you're building the habits, the systems, the mindset, all at once. Once those are in place, the money starts to snowball. But that first stretch? That's where most people give up. So let's make sure you don't. Step 1. And I know this sounds boring, but stay with me, you need to know your actual numbers. Not a rough idea. Not I think I spend about £1,500 a month. No. Your actual, real, down to the penny numbers. What comes in, what goes out, and where it all goes. Now, you don't need a fancy app for this, although MoneyHub and Emma are both decent if you want one. But honestly? A notepad works. Your banking app works. Most high street banks now categorize your spending automatically. Monzo and Starling are brilliant for this. What you're looking for is the gap. The difference between what you earn and what you spend. Because that gap is your savings rate. And your savings rate is the single biggest factor in how quickly you hit 10 grand. If you earn £2,000 a month after tax and you spend 1,900, your gap is £100. At that rate, 10 grand takes over 8 years. But if you can widen that gap to 500 a month, you're looking at 20 months. Same salary. Completely different outcome. So the entire game here is, widen the gap. Step 2. Cut the things you won't even notice are gone. I'm not going to tell you to live on rice and beans. That's miserable and nobody sticks to it. But I guarantee, and I mean guarantee, there are things leaving your bank account right now that you've forgotten about or barely use. Start with subscriptions. The average UK household spends over £60 a month on subscriptions. That's things like Netflix, Spotify, Amazon Prime, gym memberships you don't use, insurance add-ons you forgot you signed up for, that meditation app you downloaded in January and opened twice. Go through your direct debits and standing orders line by line. Cancel anything that doesn't genuinely make your life better. And for the ones you keep, ask yourself, can I get this cheaper? Can I share a Netflix account? Can I switch to a cheaper gym? Can I use a free alternative? Then look at your big three. Housing, transport, and food. Those three categories eat up about 70% of most people's income in the UK. Housing, can you negotiate your rent? Can you take in a lodger? Under the government's rent-a-room scheme, you can earn up to £7,850 a year tax-free from letting out a furnished room in your home. That alone could be worth over £600 a month. Transport, if you're paying £300 or £400 a month on a PCP car deal plus insurance, that is a colossal chunk of your income. Could you survive with a cheaper car? Public transport? Cycling? I know it's not glamorous, but saving £300 a month on transport gets you to 10 grand a full year faster. Food, meal planning. That's it. That's the tip. People who meal plan spend, on average, around 30% less on food. You don't need to be extreme about it. Just know what you're eating this week before you walk into Tesco. Stop doing the wander round the aisles and see what looks nice shop. That's how you end up spending 90 quid on a Tuesday. Step 3. This is where it gets interesting. Increase your income. Because here's the truth that the just budget harder crowd don't want to admit, there is a flaw to how much you can cut. You can only reduce your spending so far before you're just miserable. But there is no ceiling on what you can earn. Now, I'm not talking about some hustle culture fantasy where you're working 18-hour days. I'm talking about practical, realistic ways to bring in more money in the UK right now. First, check you're being paid properly. Seriously. Use websites like Glassdoor, Reed, and Total Jobs to see what your role actually pays in your area. If you're under market rate, that's a conversation worth having with your employer. The worst they can say is no. And if they do say no, well, now you know where you stand, and you can start looking elsewhere. Second, overtime and extra shifts. If your job offers them, take them. Even temporarily. Even just for 6 months while you're building this pot. Time and a half on a Saturday adds up remarkably fast. Third, sell stuff. And I don't mean set up a business. I mean go through your house and sell the things you don't use. eBay, Vint, Facebook Marketplace, Gumtree. Old clothes, electronics, furniture, that exercise bike that's become a very expensive coat rack. Most people are genuinely sitting on hundreds, sometimes thousands of pounds worth of stuff they never touch. Fourth, pick up a side income. Tutoring, freelancing, dog walking on Rover, delivering for Deliveroo at weekends, TaskRabbit. Even a few hundred extra quid a month makes an enormous difference when you're trying to close that gap. Step 4. Automate everything. This is non-negotiable. If you rely on willpower to save money, you will fail. I'm not being harsh, it's just human nature. Willpower is a limited resource, and it runs out, usually around the time you're scrolling ASOS at 11 o'clock at night. So the day you get paid, or the day after, set up an automatic transfer from your current account to a separate savings account. The money moves before you see it, before you feel it, before you have a chance to spend it. And keep that savings account separate. Not just a pot within your current account. A different account, ideally with a different bank so it's slightly annoying to access. You want just enough friction to stop you dipping in on a whim. Where should you put it? Right now, the best easy access savings accounts in the UK are paying somewhere around 4.5% to 5%. Chase, Chip, Monzo, some of the building societies, have a look on comparison sites like MoneyExpert or Money Supermarket for the latest rates. If you know you won't need the money for a fixed period, you can get slightly better rates with a fixed-term account or even regular saver accounts. First Direct, HSBC, and Nationwide often have competitive ones. And look, if you're a basic rate taxpayer, remember you've got your personal savings allowance, which means the first £1,000 of savings interest you earn each year is completely tax-free. So you don't even need to worry about a cash ISA at this stage unless you're earning above that threshold. Step 5. Track your progress and protect your motivation. This is the bit everyone skips, and it's the bit that matters most. Saving 10 grand from zero takes time. Depending on your situation, it might take you 1 year, it might take you 3. And somewhere around the halfway point, you're going to feel like giving up. You're going to see that balance sitting at £4,000 and think, what's the point? This is taking forever. So you need to make the progress visible. Put a chart on your fridge. Use a savings tracker in a notebook. Set milestones, celebrate when you hit 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. Not celebrate by blowing money, obviously. But acknowledge it. Tell someone. Feel proud of it. Because you should be. And here's something that really helped me, break 10,000 down into smaller targets. Don't think about 10 grand. Think about your first 1,000. Then your next 1,000. One step at a time. Asterisk asterisk now, let me give you a quick reality check with some real numbers. Asterisk asterisk. Let's say you cut £200 a month from your spending. Subscriptions, cheaper food shops, one or two things you didn't need. Then you earn an extra £200 a month from overtime or a side gig. That's £400 a month going into savings. At that pace, you hit 10,000 in 25 months, just over 2 years. But if you find a bigger win, a lodger, a cheaper car, a new job that pays more, and you push that to 600 a month, now you're looking at under 17 months. That's real. That's doable. That's life-changing. Asterisk asterisk, and here's the thing nobody tells you about saving your first 10 grand. Asterisk asterisk, it changes how you think about money permanently. You stop seeing yourself as someone who's bad with money. You start seeing yourself as someone who has options. And options, in this economy, in this country, right now, options are everything. So if you're starting from zero today, good. Seriously, good. You're not behind. You're just at the beginning. And the fact that you're watching this video, thinking about this stuff, putting a plan together, that already puts you ahead of most people. Right, if you found this useful, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. We put out new videos every single week on how to actually get ahead with your money here in the UK. No jargon, no nonsense, just stuff that works. Drop a comment below and tell me, where are you on your savings journey? Are you just starting out, or are you halfway there? I genuinely read every single comment, and I'd love to hear from you. And if you want to know what to actually do with that 10 grand once you've saved it, how to invest it, grow it, make it work harder, I've got a video on exactly that, and it's on screen right now. Go watch it. I'll see you there.